Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's iOS update. This time out, a remote control app for Cubase. Let's get started. This is Steinberg's Cubase IC Pro. Now, this is a remote control app that runs on iOS devices as well as on Android devices, connects via network to your computer, and allows you to take charge of what's happening inside of Cubase. We have several different views inside of Cubase IC Pro that allow us to take charge of different functions inside of Cubase running on your computer. For example, we have the mixer here, which in this case is shown at the bottom of the screen. We have an overview of our session. We have transport controls, so if we hit play here, it'll play inside of Cubase as well as show us what's happening here. We have left-right locators. We have beginning and end locators. We can turn looping on and off. We can record ARM channels. We need to get over here. And we can go into record in Cubase as well. So all those functions happen very quickly, basically in real time. This allows you to be away from your computer, especially if you're recording yourself, and yet still have control over all of those functions that you need for operating your session. In addition to the mixer and the session overview, we can also open up a key commands view. So if we tap on this, we've got one set of key commands here. This one, for example, allows us to open and close different windows. I can open up a mixer inside of Cubase. We can close that as well. We can scroll over to a completely different set of commands. This one allows us to navigate up and down through the different tracks in Cubase. In this set of commands, we can also copy, we can paste, we can undo, we can quantize. And there are a number of different sets of these windows or configurations of these commands that you can scroll among, and you can custom configure those using the settings inside of Cubase IC Pro. Now we have 4 different views. We can look at the mixer along with the project overview. We can look at the mixer along with key commands. We can look at key commands in the project overview, which is great if you're editing. And you can also look at 2 different sets of key commands, so we can scroll each of these to a separate window and have access to a wide variety of commands simultaneously. In the project overview window, we can also zoom in and zoom out for accurate locating. We can move our locators around. We can also add markers by simply touching the plus button. You can also add cycle markers. So if we scroll through here as this is playing, we can be dropping markers wherever we like. We can drop cycle markers in there. And once we've finished, we can easily navigate among those by simply tapping on them. In the mixer, we can scroll back and forth to see all of our different channels. We can move faders up and down. If you pull off to the side, it will magnetically jump to 0 dB. With the panner, when we tap on that, a larger window opens up, and you can use that for easily panning back and forth. Or if you pull up or down, as you swipe back and forth, you'll move among even divisions, which makes it very easy to set your pan position exactly where you want it. We have control over a number of different parameters inside the settings. So if we open this up, we have 3 different pages, one for the overview, one for the mix console, and one for the key commands. Here we're looking at the overview. We can turn auto quantize on and off, set the pre-count on and off, auto punch in, punch out. Those types of things can be set here. If we go to the mix console, we can change what we're seeing inside the mixer. So we can look at record monitor controls, which are here, or we can jump over and have this look at read and write controls if you're doing automation. If we set that back. We can also change which channels we're looking at. So if we don't need to see inputs, we can turn those off. Now this only affects the view inside of Cubase IC Pro. It doesn't affect the view inside of Cubase running on your computer. So if we go back here, we can turn those on. We can have all inputs on. We could just look at, for example, our audio tracks, which makes it easier to manage our mixer. Then we can turn everything back on. All right. We can look at the mix console, or we can look at any of the 4 Q mixes that we might have set up. And you can also zoom the channels in and out. Here we're at the largest view. If we go to the medium view, the channels become narrower. You see more of them simultaneously. And we can also go to the smallest view. When you do that, basically what you have are meters. Coming back over here, we have our key commands view. This is where you set up the configuration of the key commands in each of the pages. And we can easily edit this. We have 15 different commands set up here. We can change the color of those commands. Choose the color that you want. Tap on the one you want to change. This makes it very easy to change the color of the key commands and set them up exactly the way that you want it. So if we select blue over here, choose the one that we want to change, and it becomes blue. We can close that. Now we can also rename. And so we can change the name to whatever we like. We can save configurations of these pages as well. So once you've set it up exactly the way that you want it, you can change that. We can add more commands on here. Doing that is as simply as easy as tapping on the plus control, adding what you want from whatever set of commands you want. So it's very easy to set those up. And again, we have numerous different pages here, and each of those can be saved individually and loaded, so you can custom configure this exactly the way you want it. So if you're looking for a remote control app that allows you to take charge of what's happening inside your Cubase session, Cubase IC Pro is an ideal way to do it. It's a direct communication via your network to your computer, so there's very little latency. It actually moves pretty much in real time as you make the changes. It's flexible enough for you to configure it the way that you want it, and it gives you control over all the most needed functionality. Getting Cubase IC Pro working is very simple. Just download and install the app onto your iOS device or your Android device. Then you have to install a small helper device inside of Cubase. Once you do that, you can connect and disconnect very easily. Your computer will show up as long as your device and your computer are on the same network. Just choose it. It'll automatically find your computer. And you're ready to go. I hope you've enjoyed this installment of Sweetwater's iOS update. Be sure to tune in next time. We'll have more apps, more hardware accessories, and more tech tips on making music with your iOS devices. I'm Mitch Gallagher.